Henry, thanks for joining us. Just looking ahead to this weekend's trip to Colchester United, obviously a couple of disappointments in the last couple of weeks. Firstly, can you kind of put your finger on what's perhaps not happened for your team in that period?
Well, if we take the two games in between, so Doncaster at home, we were beaten by the best side. I think that was quite plain to see. Doncaster were a very, very good side and came here, and while we started well, we made a couple of mistakes for the goals, particularly once they got the lead, we weren't able to get back into it. Newport and Carlisle was very much a story of we just didn't take our chances. The performance against Newport got going, particularly in the second half, had 24 shots on goal. Fair play to Newport, they've come here looking for a point and they've got that point, but we had more than enough chances to win the game. And it's the same against Carlisle. I mean, Carlisle, we've gone to third in the league. Granted, they're not on a great run of form, but they're third in the league in the automatic promotion spots, and we've outplayed them. They got booed off the pitch at half-time and at full-time. Missed a number of chances again, played some fantastic football. So with those two games, it's really not taking the chances. Mansfield was the disappointing one, and we acknowledge that, and we know that the fans will be disappointed with the performance they've seen at home, and we're disappointed with the show that we put on for the fans there, because we unfortunately didn't really get going, and we had a couple of chances early on which might have changed the game a little bit if we'd have taken them, but Mansfield took their chance and we weren't playing well enough to get ourselves back in the game. Putting your finger on exactly why that is, in relation to chances being taken, you go through sort of peaks and troughs sometimes with that, and we're working very, very hard in training to address that and get that issue sorted. In relation to the actual performance itself against Mansfield, we've spoken a lot with the players this week and outlined very, very clearly in no uncertain terms about our expectations about what we want from them in and out of possession, and it's not try it and if it fails then revert back to type over what it's maybe been like over the previous couple of years. It's no, this is what we're being asked of you. We're picking a team to play to that style. You've got to go out and do it. And what we find is, particularly with the style we're trying to embed in the football club, throughout the football club at the moment, is that if not everybody's singing from that same hymn sheet, then it can be picked apart quite easily, if you like, and then suddenly you look like a team without a plan. So you need all 11 focusing on that plan, because it's an intricate game plan, but it's a game plan that we're good enough to execute. We've shown that we're good enough to execute, and I'm sure we'll be putting the wrongs of Saturday right coming up this weekend.
It feels, in the time that yourself and Rossi have been in charge, that expectations around the place have been raised amongst supporters, certainly. Is that how you guys see it when you're plotting in the week?
Well, myself and Rossi have very, very high expectations, both in terms of our performance and then that translating in terms of the performance of the team. What we've got here is we've got the balance between a group of players at the moment in the group where we are pushing for the playoffs, make no mistake about that. However, in the background, we've got also an understanding and an acceptance that we're working with a team that's the second year in League Two, finished 15th last year, had a comfortable season. Had a good run second half of the season to stave off any fears of relegation, but we're never pushing to go beyond that. And it's been similar really in the first half of this season. And what Rossi and I have tried to do is to change that mindset of everybody, that it's not just a little old Barnet. It's Barnet Football Club, and we're looking to push up League Two and out of League Two as quickly as we can. That's been seen in terms of our transfer activity, but all these things don't just happen overnight. And it's pleasing to see the realisation and acceptance of everybody internally at the football club that these things will take time. However, it's mine and Rossi's job to make sure that time is as physically short as possible. And we came in, we've hit the ground running. We've had the last 4 games where, although we've not won a game, we've started some good performances in amongst them. We've also had a couple of poor performances, and we've got to get this team, as I've alluded to earlier, making sure that we're gelling. Everyone's pulling in the same direction to make sure that we can maximise our performance on the Saturday. And the expectation will be, when we get to the stage where we're doing that week in, week out, we can be making a genuine push for the playoffs, and because that's where we want to get to, we've got to start doing it now.
I'm just going to pause you there. Turning attentions to this weekend then, Colchester only above us on goal difference. There are no easy games, there are no games that don't matter, but these games against playoff rivals, I imagine, really do count for potentially extra in terms of territory and so on.
Certainly so. The game against Mansfield on Saturday was a big game. The game against Colchester this Saturday is probably even bigger, probably now on the back of that Mansfield defeat. But we've got players here who've shown they can perform in big games, whether that be playing against teams that are in and around them, like the victory we've had against Yeovil, playing against teams that are above us, like the victories we've had against Plymouth or playing against teams that are below us, wins against Leyton Orient and Cheltenham, so we're more than capable of doing it. The number one thing from our side is our consistency of individual performance, and that translating into consistency of team performance. If we have that, on our day, we can beat any team in this league. Our biggest thing that we have to overcome is that consistency, and that's what we need to address this weekend. We need to take the performance from Saturday, put that behind us, and put in a consistent, high-performing team performance at the weekend against Colchester.
And just finally, on the injury front, can you give us any update from the treatment room?
Jack Taylor, as Luigi's updated, has got a hernia, so he won't be fit, and Jamie Stevens still isn't fit either. So Josh Vickers will be continuing in goal.
Perfect. Thank you very much.